Hello, and welcome to my channel. I'm Mandi, author of 10 young adult novels so far. I guess welcome to the last week of Get Grounded. There's not a lot to film per Get Grounded this week. The last week is acceptance. Accepting where you are so that you can actually start making progress towards where you want to be. Because if you don't know where your starting point is, you can't actually map the steps you need to get to where your end goal is. It's just like if you get in the car to drive somewhere, your maps, your GPS will require a starting location in order to map out where you need to go. And it's the same idea. Taking stock of where you're at, being honest and open about it, and just this is where I'm at, whether you like it or not. It's just the facts. And then yeah, making some steps to move forward. We have, gosh, I just got up from a 2-hour nap and I'm so sleepy. We have our the acceptance prompt that we had at the start of every, I don't know if you're looking at that, at the start of every week, and then a journaling section for this week's, like, you know, major acceptance. Gaining a clear understanding of your starting point, with no judgment of that starting point. And moving on. And then we have a little handout for the RAIN technique, for a journaling prompt if you need it. Anyway, I'm so tired. But yeah, that's what this week is. So I have one day of journaling and then, you know, posting about it, and that's it. That's the whole week. So it's not really going to be a Get Grounded focused video. But it will be writing life related vlog. Is the point. Ugh, there he goes again. I'm just gonna hang out over here, so he can't jump down here and eat our food. I'm going to be jumping into edits this week. Not sure what that will look like. I do still have my injured finger. It's less injured a week later. So I think I can type, but I haven't tried yet. And then also, I don't know how deeply I want to get into the editing trenches, because next week, when the QC 20 starts, I'm going to be drafting book 3, is my plan. So, I don't know. I don't know what editing will look like, but we're going to start playing with those opening chapters this week and seeing what happens. Hello, welcome to, what day is this? Thursday. Welcome to Thursday. I just journaled out the last Get Grounded prompt, which is just acceptance. Where are you at, realistically, in your writing life? And what steps can you take after acknowledging where you are? Anyway, just did the little journaling thing. I feel pretty good, honestly. I think, sans stabbing my hand and things kind of getting haywire the last 2 weeks, I've got a fairly ideal situation working at the preschool and then coming home and having most of my afternoons. I have at least 2 hours before I have to do evening activities, and so I have time. I wasn't utilizing that time well prior to the Get Grounded challenge, but in the last 6 weeks, sans the hand incident, I have been doing a whole lot better, and I've been very productive. So I think, honestly, it's just a matter of like a little bit of self-discipline when I get home from work, whether it's like the yoga, stretching, working out, whatever, or, you know, I don't know what else I come up with. Just being intentional with my routines and what I'm doing when I get home, so that I can maybe give myself a few extra energy pennies, you know, create another spoon, so that whatever was depleted at work, I have enough to be productive at home with the writing and client work and even just like household chores, whatever. Yeah, so I think, assuming I maintain the discipline to actually come home and do those routines and rhythms, I will absolutely thrive. I think is the point that I'm trying to make. Yeah, I have the time to make steady, consistent progress every week, even if I'm not writing every single day. So, yeah. I'm in a good spot, I guess, is what I'm saying. So I guess that's the end of Get Grounded. Probably not the end of this video because it's only Thursday. But and I've kind of been doing the whole week. But we do have one more Get Grounded page, which I probably won't do today because I just did the acceptance today. Maybe it'll be a Saturday thing. Just to like finish out the week and make some notes on each of the what do you call those? The principles of groundedness. And do some analyzing of like what worked, what didn't, you know, which principles were easy. I don't know. So I'll probably do that Saturday morning. And then also Saturday, we're kicking off the other challenge that's starting, which will be the QC20, which is 20 days of either resting or writing or refining. I've lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, anyway, I'm going to be writing, which is committing to, I think, 20,000 words, in those 20 days, which might be a lot. But you know what? We're gonna have fun, and we're gonna write book 3, and, yeah, it's gonna be fantastic. I'm not gonna finish book 3, probably, in those 4 weeks, because the 20 days is like 20 days, plus the weekends are built-in rest. So it'll be 4 weeks, and it'll go through the middle of April, and then we might take a slight pause before we do another challenge, because 2 back-to-back might be a lot. By the time we get to the middle of April, I might be like, I need a break. So we'll see what happens. This actually lined up perfectly for me because spring break is next week, and so we're kicking off the new challenge on Saturday. I'm moving to the farm on Saturday, and then I don't have a lot of responsibilities. I have a few responsibilities. Like I will have to watch my nieces and nephew. There's only one of them in that family. I have nephews, but I'm not watching my nephews. Anyway, that was unnecessary. Yes, I do have other things that will be happening over the week. So I'm not like just laying around at the farm, but I will have a lot of time, presumably. And I'll be able to get, you know, the 1,000 words a day that I need to get in order to be on track to do the 20,000 words that I hope to do in the next 4 weeks. Yeah, this is the perfect week to start, because this is like the week that I'm most excited, and I'm gonna have the most time, so maybe I'll even get ahead so that, you know, by the time we're in the middle of April and I want a break and I'm tired and I'm working, and whatever. And I'm growing less intentional and disciplined in coming home from preschool and doing my routines and, you know, getting some extra energy pennies in order to keep going with the day. Yeah, maybe I'll get ahead this week so that when I get to that point, it's okay if I don't write that much. I don't know. We'll see what happens, obviously, but I'm feeling pretty good about it. I am very tired, and I almost feel like I've got some kind of like sore throat situation coming on. It just feels like minorly scratchy today. And I keep coughing, which is annoying. So I don't know if I'm getting sick or if I'm just exhausted, but that might play a role in how the start of this week goes, / just like this weekend. Anyway, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I do need to figure out how to post the challenge in the Slack. Guys, I'm having so many issues. I'm not tech savvy. I don't do technology, okay? So I have, spoilers for non-hedgies, I have the Quillen Cup 20 document from last year. Problem being the date, because it's not just in March. So this one, it has like, where is it? Where's the... Oh, right there, starting March 3rd through the end of the month. That's not what's happening. It's starting March 15th and going to April, April 11th. And I can't figure out how to fix this. It's not, like, it's a PDF. I can't edit it. I don't know. I don't do technology. So I might just, like, retype this entire thing and try to format it the way that it is formatted. And just hope for the best. That's what's gonna happen, I think. Okay, excuse me. I'm totally fine. Okay, I did what I could do so far with, like, trying to type up the new working document. It doesn't look the same yet. Okay, listen. It doesn't look the same yet. It looks very similar. It doesn't look the same yet because I don't know what the fonts are. So, you know, I went looking. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Also, I made a guess on the pinks. But I think I got the guess right. Anyway, I need to know the font for the Quillen Cupness of it all. And I have reached out to the person who should know. And if they don't, I'll bug on you. But it seems like a silly thing to bug on you with right now. Anyway, so I have done what I can do in that situation. I'm waiting for that person to respond. If they don't respond by the end of this evening, I will just post it and, you know, just tell them what happened. Because I needed to fix the dates. And the dates have been fixed. Anyway, yeah, so by the end of tonight, I will either have the information I need in order to make it look exactly like the other one, or I won't, and I'll post it as it is, and let them know why it looks wonky. So we're switching gears now and moving back into writing. We're also switching gears in that regard because I started to edit draft 2, which is the 3.0 document of Cindy's story. Because the 2.0 document, which is typically a draft 2, was me polishing chapters at the beginning of Cindy's book and sending them to my critique partner while I was still drafting the end of the book. We're just going to leave those 8 chapters where they are and be happy. Anyway, started a fresh document, document 3, for draft 2. We did the prologue last Monday, and then I stabbed myself, and I did nothing else for the rest of that week. And then this Monday, I got back into being a productive human being, but I did not do anything in Cindy's story. And the rest of this week, we have done nothing. Because I'm lazy. Because acceptance week doesn't give me the external accountability of a challenge in order to sit down and write. Acceptance week is one day of me sitting down and journaling as a writer and, like, taking stock of where I am and where my writing life is and what I can do about it, which has nothing to do with, like, sit down 5 times. Oh my goodness. You know, that hurt a lot less than it would have a week ago. Ow. Okay, I'm actually quite thrilled with how little that hurt, in fact. I mean, it hurt, clearly, but, it barely hurt, comparatively. We're healing, guys. Whew, okay, anyway. Don't dramatically smack your hand on the table, okay? That is a bad plan. Jeez. Oh, my hand. Okay, what was I saying before I did that unwise thing that I just did? I don't know. I think I was recapping what has or has not been done. Is that what I was doing? Oh yeah, external accountability. Okay, it's coming back to me. I need someone to be like, commit to sitting down 5 times this week to work on your story. And then I'm like, bet. Hold my tea. And then I will sit down 5 times and do the thing, you know? But just one day of journaling acceptance does not give me the challenge to like sit down and write, you know? And I have no internal motivation whatsoever. So, nothing got done this week, is the point I'm making. Okay, anyway, nothing got done. We've only done the prologue in draft 2. And that's okay, because now we're switching gears. Because the new challenge, as I said, is starting... Dang it, stop whacking your finger on... Okay, whoo! We're gonna hold the camera with that hand. So that when I feel dramatic and I smack the table, it's not on that finger. So on Saturday, we're starting a new challenge. And I'm drafting 20,000 words, presumably. Which means, if I'm starting the drafting, which would technically start on Monday, if I'm starting the drafting on Monday, but I need to have read the original book. So here's how this is going. If this is somehow your first video with me, or it's not your first video, but you really don't have any idea what all this nonsense about rewriting old books is about, because maybe you haven't been here that long, because apparently this started 4 years ago. What is time? Anyway, okay, so, once upon a time, I was 17, I wanted to publish a book, and I did, because I googled it, and Create Space came up, and I was like, done, check, and I published a little book called Lucy's Legend, with a blue cover, and, like, I don't have an easily accessible copy. We don't have to worry about that right now. Anyway, I know where some are. Anyway, I was recapping my writing life. Yes, okay, so I published books. I published 10 books. You know the Mandi Grace, author of 10 young adult novels so far. Little spiel thing that I do at the beginning of basically every video. Those are the 10 books, which is kind of tragic. I love those 10 books. I'm not saying those 10 books are tragic. It's tragic that I have not yet been able to say more than just those 10 books. Good Lord. Anyway, okay, so published 10 books over the course of several years. And then in 2020, when I was math, I was 25. Yeah. Okay, in 2020, I was 25. And then I decided not to keep publishing because I originally published under Amanda Grace because my name's Amanda. And then in 2020, I was like, let's veer off in this other direction and publish under Mandi Grace, okay? So I published, I guess it wasn't 10 books. I retract my previous statement. I published 8 books under Amanda Grace. That's what I did. And then in 2020, I published Return to Sherwood and Return to Grace under Mandi Grace. So for a little bit, I had the original Robin Hood series published by Amanda Grace and the sequel series published by Mandi Grace. And then in about the end of 2021, I decided, A, that's very silly. We should bring them all under the same brand. And 2, while we're doing that, maybe we should rewrite the stories that teenage me wrote. Because I love those characters in that world, but I'm somewhat embarrassed by the writing itself. You know what I mean? Anyway, so then I kickstarted that journey in 2022, and we wrote all of the Robin Hood books in 2022, and it was a lot. It was too much. It was chaos. But it was also wonderful, and I enjoyed it. And then we started working on the dystopian trilogy, and then we stalled there forever, and that's where we're at right now, is rewriting in order to republish a previously Amanda Grace book, which will now be a Mandi Grace book. We only have 2 more, okay? Of the 8, we only have 2 more. We have Cindy's book, and we have book 3. And Cindy's book is in the editing process. Wonderful. And book 3 I have not looked at all in the 3 years that I've been on this rewrites adventure. So, this is a very exciting day. This is monumental. We're starting book 3. But what that will look like is I'm treating the beginning very much like I do when I finish a first draft, which is I read the entire manuscript of the first draft and take notes on what I think needs to change, or what needs to be added, or what is interesting, what is boring, whatever, you know? So I'm going to read the originally published book and take some notes, and also bear in mind how I have changed the story when I rewrote book 1, and now I have a first draft of book 2, which isn't published and polished and perfect yet, but I have the bones of that story. So bearing in mind what I have changed in book 1 and book 2, how that will alter book 3. And then we're going to start drafting. So we have over here Mandi Grace versions. There is diddly squat over here. We have metadata. We have a pitch, apparently. What? Hold on, what is this? What are you? Oh, I pitched it and I got notes from the hedgies on. Okay. Yeah. I forgot about that. Wait, let me retitle this, because it's not a pitch, it's from the pitch prickle. I can spell prickle, maybe. There we go. Okay, it's from the pitch prickle. So, let's do some reorganizing while we're here, because 2, for example, has like blah 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 metadata newsletter things, right? Okay, that's what needs to happen over here with the metadata and then the prickle and then a use somewhere scene. Metadata, plop. You go in there. Okay, now that we've organized that, that's not the point at all. Backing up, away from the Mandi Grace versions, we're going to the original. The original little book right here. Oh, maybe. Hello? I do need you to open. That was less dramatic than I needed it to be. Okay. Mandi Grace. Well, Amanda. Let's see. This wasn't too long ago. Where's my data? Oh, this is not the published version. I'll never know. When did I publish this? Hold on. Okay. I wanted to show you the blue Lucy's Legend anyway, so boom. Create space, 17. Well, by this point I was 19. I wrote it at 17. Almost 18. And then a year later I was like, look at that! I published a book! Isn't that gorgeous? Don't you just love this? Okay, anyway. That sucker. Look how teeny tiny she is. That sucker became this gorgeous beauty. And book-sized. Yeah, we love that. That is not why we came over to this bookshelf, though. In fact, we came for this one. The only slightly book-sized one in the original trilogy. Because they're teeny tiny. She's also teeny tiny, but she's bigger than Lucy's Legend. Okay. What is that? Ew, is that a bug? Disgusting. Queen of Caradale. I really just want to know. Look at this Create Space cover. What even is this cover? I was so bad at cover designs, you guys. I was... Oh, wow. Gorgeous. Okay. I just want to know when you were published. Oh, 2018. There you go. Okay, here's a serious question. Do we want to read on the screen over here, which is somewhat boring, or should we just read the tiny little book? Maybe I should just read the tiny little book, actually. Anyway, okay, so 2018. That was only 8 years ago. I was 22? Is that how math works? Yeah. No. Yes. Well, depends on when in the year it was, I suppose. Doesn't matter. And that was the final Amanda Grace book. Before I decided to switch gears and be Mandy Grace, and then before I decided to switch gears and rewrite everything. Wow, I wonder if there are vlogs from that period. I had a YouTube channel. Hold on. I'm getting wild ideas, you guys. Okay. How would one... If we sort by date, when did I start? 2016. Okay. I can find 2018. There's 2017. Whoa, I only had 1, 2, 3, 4 videos in 2016. That's not a lot. Okay. I keep hearing things, and I think my roommate's coming home, and then that makes me embarrassed to keep talking to myself. Wait. Okay, 2017. My first Preptober in 2017. 2017 is when I became obsessed with NaNoWriMo. Okay, moving on. Okay, first time that I won NaNoWriMo. What was I writing in that first NaNoWriMo?
Multiple things. I kind of fun.
Oh my gosh, she's so cute and little. What an awkward baby. Okay.
First of all, I feel kind of bad because I forgot to post it.
She's
just
not
doing 2 seems ridiculous. I don't know if I'll continue doing these.
She's not going to tell us what she's writing.
Updates.
She's not going to tell me anything.
Compiling them at the end of the week.
Baby girl, talk about what you're doing.
That might be boring after a while. So
it's boring to say, "Hey, I'm writing,"
we'll see.
and nothing else.
So far.
Girl,
I'm 3 chapters into my novel right now.
Okay, what novel? What was I writing in 2017? Return to Sherwood, maybe? I didn't publish that till 2020. Preptober. What was I prepping? What was my Preptober?
Hi everyone.
Hi.
So we're in the middle of October.
Amazing.
What you have to decide is what story you're
She's so awkward. Look at this baby girl. Look at her.
A brand new story, or fixing up an old novel that you just haven't gotten perfect yet, or whatever. Whatever you decide to do, you have to choose a book to work on in November. I haven't published all of the books yet, but I have finished writing my Robin Hood series and my dystopian trilogy. So, for NaNoWriMo this year, I decided to go with a completely new story.
Is this the crime novel?
No. Because I'm still following the same characters from my Robin Hood series. But it's a
Return to
brand new
Sherwood.
story. It's not the Robin Hood series. It's a new set. It's going to follow Robin Hood and his gang after King Richard died.
It's Return to Sherwood. I wrote Return to Sherwood. Okay. Which means I'm done. I said I was done. Not published yet, but done. Okay. So I didn't write that for 2017 NaNoWriMo, which means I either wrote it earlier in 2017 or I wrote it in 2016. Okay, why shows write it down, outlines, details, distractions, quarterly writing goals. Maybe that will tell me what I want to know. I want to know if there's vlogs of writing the original. I don't know why, but I want to see baby girl write it, you know? Sweet, innocent summer child.
So, a couple of things.
The clapping of the legs. Hold on. Why does she start the video like this?
So,
amazing.
A couple of things. I make a timeline of the events.
Why do you talk like this? Also, that was not the video I meant to click on. I wanted the quarterly writing goals.
Hi everyone.
Ooh, hi.
About my quarterly writing goals.
Which are what, baby girl?
So, what are quarterly writing goals?
No, don't explain quarterly writing goals to me.
I never had, but it's a brand new year, so I figured give it a try. See what happens. So,
You're adorable.
Going to tell you what my writing goals are.
I love you.
Here, and in 3 months we'll see how I did, I guess. So my writing goals. First writing goal for this.
I had to put it on 2 times speed. I can't listen to her talk.
Anyway, the first one is to finish writing Courageous Heart, which is the second novel in a series of mine. Isolated.
Courageous Heart. Finish writing Courageous Heart. That's book 2. That's Cindy's book. Okay.
The third book in that series.
Okay. We're going to outline the third book in that series. Then I talk about timelines, and then I have the author tag. Then I have a Courageous Heart. Write what you know. I did a lot of, like, advice videos back in the day, which is so funny. because that baby girl did not know how to write. I don't do advice videos anymore, which is ironic, because now I probably could get away with it. But I don't do that anymore because now I have imposter syndrome. When I didn't know anything about writing, I was like, I know everything. Listen to me. And now I'm like, I mean, I know some things, but maybe don't listen to me. Anyway, I apparently wasn't doing vlogs yet. Well, okay, I have another quarterly writing goals, number 2, which would have been April. What am I doing there?
Hi everyone. So
I start every single video either slapping my legs or going, "Hi everyone," with my hands out like this. Why? I don't know. She's questioning life. Look at her. She's very confused. Why everyone? Anyway.
So, it's been a few weeks since I have made a vlog.
Oh, she's so sweet.
And then when I do, I look back at what my goals were for the first quarter.
I used to do quarterly goals a lot.
Set the goals for the next 3 months. So
I should get back into that, honestly.
So I have my goals, which I wrote on a sticky note for some reason last month, but that's okay. The first one was to finish Courageous Heart, which I did do, yay. And then edit Courageous Heart. It's still in the editing beta readers process. I did start the process like a month and a half ago, but it's still ongoing. It's not complete yet, but it's almost there, so I'm going to count it. The third one is to start brainstorming and outlining the 3rd book in my Finding Hope series. I haven't done that. I haven't even started to do that, pretended to do that. No, I did nothing with the book in that series.
She did nothing. She did nothing. Okay, then we have Bookcase Club Unboxing, Everything You Should Know, The Writing of My Youth. I'm sorry. It's the way that it says Shudder in all caps. Oh no. That's how I feel about the book you haven't even written yet, baby girl. Wow. Wow. What was I reading that day that I was so embarrassed about? I'm not going to get any writing done today.
So today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different and slightly terrifying. I'm going to...
What did you read?
Past some of them when I was young. I'm not sure how this is going to go. This could be really bad. But we can do it anyway.
She's so young.
Maybe. So the first thing I'm going to read, when I was in 6th grade, I was in poetry class.
Oh, really old stuff.
Poetry, probably. I did a poem off of my name. So...
Oh no, don't read that. We don't need to hear that again. Oh. Wow. I shared my really old writing. I shared my childhood. And then the original Robin Hood, which I've shared the original Robin Hood elsewhere. When I published the new Legend of the Thief, I did a video, I'll probably link it or whatever. I put it in the cards, where I read the first chapter of the first draft, which I wrote by hand and was a different format because it was like a letter that Lucy was writing. I read chapter 1 of the very first draft, and then chapter 1 of the published Lucy's Legend, and then chapter 1 of the Legend of the Thief. That was kind of a fun video, to be honest. I really enjoyed that, and I liked seeing the progression of, like, I don't know, every 5 to 10 years. This is what this chapter looks like now with my gathered skills of writing. Anyway, cool beans. This is not what I want. I wanted vlogs of writing, but maybe I didn't do that back in the day. Writer's Toolbox, ways to improve your writing skills. You know nothing. You know nothing. Baby girl, choosing a story. My writing space. Oh, it's a desk tour. That one is one of my most viewed videos ever. Which is not saying a lot because I don't get a ton of views. But that one has 219 views, okay? And most of my videos get like 20. I don't know why that video was so popular, but to this day, it still gets views. I don't know. Okay, An Author's Life for Me tag. Oh, Day in the Life of the Author. My first ever vlog. Brilliant. This is all I do now is vlog. Oh, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. Oh, I look tired. I look less like a baby. Maybe because it's just my face. Whoa. It's pictures. It's... Oh, is that the intro?
Right now, I mean...
I don't remember that being my intro. That's so funny. It's just pictures of me in my childhood writing and reading. That's hilarious. Okay, I just want to know if you're writing the book that I'm literally about to read. That's all I want to know.
Breakfast, just cereal.
Don't show me your cereal. Oh.
That does not actually look appetizing.
Disgusting.
But whatever. Is giving you a little sneak peek into what my life is like every day. Actually, this won't be like a normal every day because
she's so awkward and I love her. Yes, please. Please don't just post 20 minutes of reading. I'm dying watching tiny young me read her Bible. Okay, I don't know what just happened with the coughing. I'm not going to have any time to read tonight because I'm just doing this. Okay, she's reading her Bible. I kept the entire clip. I really did. Oh, wow. That's so funny.
So, I used to write on the floor. And then the last few months I've been writing on my desk, which I toured in a previous video. But lately, I've been writing on the bed. The reason being, 2 days ago, I was writing at my desk, minding my own business. And this giant spider came crawling out the back of my desk, slowly went up the wall. Oh. And it stopped at this picture that I have hanging on the wall, and turned around, and crawled back down. And I've not sat at my desk since then.
That's so relatable. If a spider crawled out of this desk, I would also not sit back down at this desk for like at least a month. That I am still that way.
I haven't seen a spider since then. I probably won't be using my desk for a while because that was a very disturbing experience for me.
I love you.
So I just sit on my bed, which actually has a lot more space in my desk, so I can spread out all this stuff.
Oh man, the middle part though, I was still parting my hair in the middle. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Random.
So let's get writing.
What am I writing? Oh, just tell me what it is you're working on. Very vain. Okay, this is very vain. But like, she's so scanny. I just, can I be that size again?
We've got 6 chapters of the book I'm writing done.
Which is what? What is the book you are writing? Writing what? What is too fuzzy? I can't read what that says. What is she writing? What is she? Also, love the throwback. Yeah. I had that dinosaur phone for a very long time. Oh, it's my tiny laptop, but I can't read what it says. Oh, what does it say? Trust. Still not a strong suit of mine. Okay, wait. Hold on. I do something at my... it's fuzzy, I can't read. I think my... What? Something of Cindy. This might be book 3. My assessment of Cindy was... What? Sensitive? Yes. Weak? No. Oh, was incorrect. My assessment of Cindy was incorrect. Is she sensitive? Yes. Weak? No. I thought Hadrian's death... Oh, spoilers! Would break her. I felt... It's so fuzzy, I can't read it. Something today would do something. Something. You're right, Cindy. We do know the healer, and he will work this for good. Somehow. Trust. Still not a strong suit of mine. Oh, this is definitely... Oh, it says Caradale up in the corner. This is definitely the Queen of Caradale. I don't know where this is, but I'm writing the Queen of Caradale right now. Okay, the Queen of Caradale was written in 9 days. 9 little days. So there's probably not, if that's the day in the life vlog, and then I have a sarcastic writing vlog, and then I have quarterly writing goals, and then I have how to self-publish a novel, as if I know. And then the writing process, as if I know. And then writing in tea. That's probably another vlog. But I don't think that would be 9 days later. August 19th. June 17th. No. Yeah. That's the only vlog of writing that book. That's the end. That's all I get. That was not... I wanted more joy than that. There was no vlogging back in the day. That was really tragic. Okay. It's fine. We'll vlog it now. What a sad time. I was hoping to, like, see my joy and my thought process in those 9 days of writing that book. And then, like, maybe get a comparison as I read it now, you know? But no. I saw myself write one scene. I guess I'll tell you when I find that scene again. Oh, my roommate is home now. Look at that. Throwback to when I used to hide in the laundry room to film away from the children. It's the good old-fashioned laundry room update. We haven't had these in a while. I've been reading today. I'm also maybe getting sick. I don't know, man. The nose, the throat, it's not a good vibe. But anyway, so much energy today. I've been reading. I read through, I finished the first chapter. And I have so many thoughts, but the main ones, okay, two main thoughts. One is that Hope describes herself as being barely 19 years old at the start of the story, which tells me that this book starts in the fall, after whatever the events of book 1 and book 2. This one starts in the fall of the following year, question mark. So that will help with setting things in the timeline. I can work backwards from book 3 and then see how that paces things out. It might stay the way that I've put the timeline, but I think where I have the timeline right now, it ends in like May or something. So that's a few months short of where it needs to be. Unless, it takes that long to do. There could be a gap between book 2 and book 3, where there's meetings and with officials or whatever, and like getting set for the war, because this is the book with the war in it. Yeah. So maybe those months are filled with other things. I don't know. Anyway, that's the first thing. I came across that comment and I was like, wait a minute. Yeah. And then the other thing is that Hope gets on the phone. Hope's been on the run her entire life. She's been fostered by a lot of different families. So she's got this like big, extensive, not related to her at all family, right? But there's one particular family that she spent her teenage years with that is like, they're her people, Like, she's very fond of all the people who sheltered her over the years, but like there's one family that's like, these are her siblings. And so, yeah, in chapter 1, there's a phone call with one of her siblings, with her brother, foster brother, whatever. Anyway, and, I mean, they're very cute. I like their little relationship, but she's on the phone and just talking about, the war with Caradale and talking about the Red Army, and then he's like, you should bring Cindy, come for Christmas, whatever, and she's like, we can't come for Christmas, it's too dangerous. If the king, knows anything about me and my weaknesses, he'll exploit it, whatever. And I'm like, girl, you are on the phone talking about this. Cindy had to walk everywhere in book 2 because we couldn't use cars and we couldn't use phones because things could be tracked. But you're just out here like discussing war plans on your phone with your foster brother. What in the world? So there's definitely changes that are going to be made when I rewrite this book, because that can't happen. Or if they are on the phone, then they're gonna have to have some kind of like code language to discuss these things, without discussing them, because that was ridiculous. So that's where I've gotten so far. Also, she does describe Cindy as timid, which I think is going to have to stop, because Cindy, while timid in the opening of book 2, is not as timid by the end of book 2. So, yeah, I don't know. there's some things already in chapter 1 that need help. Also, I do think it would be wise in some ways, since stop yawning. Woo! Since I was considering having some kind of Christmas family something function in book 2, which I haven't done yet, but I was considering it. It might be helpful to introduce a handful of Hope's Chaos family before this book, because there's a lot of them. And we don't really care about them because they're just a bunch of names being thrown at us. Obviously, Hope cares about them a lot. But anyway, introducing some of those characters in book 2 will make us care about them more in book 3, and also be less overwhelmed by the other people who will also be introduced in this book. So, yeah, there's that too. I did get the information I needed to make the one-pager look basically exactly the same, which I don't think I mentioned that night. but we did it. I was very successful. In terms of reading, I did just like 6 pages that first night, and then I'm on page 24 now, which is not very far. I probably need to finish the book today so I can outline tomorrow and then start drafting. We didn't plan ahead for this at all. Hi. Okay, the challenge kickoff for the QC20 is happening in like 30 minutes. I don't know what I'm going to do productive-wise in those 30 minutes. I'm probably going to prep for the challenge, for the kickoff. Otherwise, don't type on that again. Sorry, he keeps walking on my laptop. I should stop leaving it open. Anyway, I got on here for a reason. Oh, after the kickoff, I'm actually going to be meeting with one of the hedgies. I called it a coffee chat prickle. Because on my prickle that I host yesterday, we go around and talk about what we're going to be working on for that hour, and then we get to it, you know. And she was discussing that she's in the middle of rewriting some old books, and like she has the original document open, and she has the new document open, and she has this other document open. And I was like, girl, you are speaking my language. This is what I've been doing for 4 years, man. Anyway, it was pretty exciting. It was good. It was fun to be like, wait a minute, I see you. Yeah, so we decided that we should chat and discuss. Let her pick my brain a little bit. He just stole my glasses. He's kind of mean to me. Anyway, yes. So that's happened. So I'm doing the kickoff, and then we're gonna chat about this wild journey of rewriting 8 old books to republish them. Yeah, it'll be a good time. And then I'm gonna probably spend some time reading Queen of Caradale, because I really do want to get through all of that today, so that I can outline tomorrow and start drafting next week. I didn't plan for this at all. I should have spent the whole week reading, but I wasn't thinking ahead very well. I sort of like offhandedly at one point mentioned that maybe I should do that. Like on week 5 or something of Get Grounded, I was like, maybe I'll spend that week reading. But then I didn't actually make a plan to do that. So I'm not prepared to start drafting immediately tomorrow when the challenge starts. So we'll just see how this goes. But I am going to do the word count. I'm going to try for 20,000 words. The original book is only about 35,000 words. I pulled it up the other day. Let me go, hold on. Let me pull it up. Book 3. Yeah, 35,000 words. 35,091. It's just barely over. So, if this goes the way all of the other books have gone, where they basically double in size as they add new content and then flesh out the scenes that are already there, it'll probably be around 70,000 words. Oh my goodness, it's gonna be an actual book. What in the world? That's crazy. Wait, how big did Cindy's book get? Ooh, 76.9. Whoa! Cindy's book is a real book. Dang! That's 77,000 words for Cindy. Good job, Cindy. I'm very proud of you. For comparison, Cindy's original book, Courageous Heart, was... we'll never know. 37,000 words. Okay, so right around the size of Queen of Caradale. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if I just formatted them differently. Because, like, book size, like when I pulled them off the shelf over there, Queen of Caradale is thicker than the other two books in the series. Queen of Caradale. Where'd out? 35. That's smaller. Did I format them differently, or is this not the final version? I don't know the answer to that question, to be honest. That was a long time ago. Drafts. What's this one? I'm just clicking on buttons now. 31. Oh no, that was an earlier draft. 31,000. Huh. I don't know. Anyway, it was under 40,000. It was under 40,000. Whatever that looked like. But I expect it to be more like 70. 70 to 80. Like Cindy's book. It might actually get bigger because, like, this is the war that's happening. And I've only gone through, so I went through like a chapter and a half maybe yesterday. And there's so much that just needs more. Like, the war begins, like, we invade Single State. First of all, off screen. It just happens. We hear about it. And two, it happens in like 2 sentences off screen. And then we show up there, like Cindy gets to go, and she's looking for Cassie, who's not there anymore. And they have like the counter serums to the memory wipe and different human experimentation stuff, which is all experimental, you know? And there's going to be more to that in either the end of Cindy's book or the opening of this book, where they're actually doing the science part of that, which Cindy wants to be involved in. You know, she's offered her brain for study, and she's trying to help her friend Alonzo, who's gotten the memory wipe. Anyway, there's going to be more. It's going to be upfront, and like Cindy's involved. But I was reading the original book, and it was just like, they show up with the experimental things, they pass them out to the people are instantly fine, immediately cured. There were no stakes whatsoever. And we're on chapter 2. Like, what? It's like I just sort of was like, you know what, I want to skip over this part so I can get to the part that I'm interested in. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't have vlogs from that time period. Clearly. Because I went on a rabbit hole about that. Anyway, I don't know, man. So, there's, what I'm trying to say is, even in the first 2 chapters that I've read, I expect these 2 chapters will become like 10, 15 chapters as I add scenes and flesh out this storyline. My goodness. So, yeah, there's a lot already, and I haven't even gotten into the meat of the story. This is gonna be fun. Okay, a couple of things. Not the prickle. Well, I guess it is a prickle. The kickoff. The kickoff went as kickoffs go for me, which means poorly. I'm technologically disadvantaged. So it never works out the way that I think it will work out. But we got it. We got it figured out. Recording of the Zooms is always an issue, but it happened. And then I had like a coffee date kind of prickle. With a gal who was on my prickle yesterday, and she's rewriting her books, and I'm rewriting my books, obviously. So we were able to have like a really good conversation about that. And then also I did, and by good conversation I mean we chatted each other's ears off for like almost 2 hours. It was wonderful. Anyway, and then I did the last journaling of the Get Grounded thing, because even as I'm kicking off one challenge, I'm still ending the other one. So yeah, this is just like which ones worked, what didn't, whatever. I do think the movement week was the most helpful week. It was certainly the most productive week, in terms of like working in my story. I do really enjoy, these 3 like writer-centric ones. But I did find that the vulnerability, deep community, acceptance weeks, while good for like me, mindset, that sort of thing, it wasn't the external accountability that I needed to sit down and write, you know? Like it was about me, but it wasn't about challenging me to write. And so I wasn't writing. I did also have a hand injury in the middle of it, and that threw that week for like a total loop. But yeah, the weeks that it was like movement was like incorporate movement into writing 6 days a week. And so I spent 6 days moving, you know, and then writing in my story. And then patience was the same. What was happening the patience weeks? Was that the journaling week? No, that was presence. Presence was journaling before writing. Patience was something before writing. Anyway, they were specifically about building something into your writing routine. And so it was like, sit down and write this week. And so I did. And then the other weeks, the challenges weren't about writing. And so less writing happened. Yeah, so that's interesting. I also think like the movement was so game changer this year, and I don't remember it being this game changer last year, or like even like back in the beginning of Quill and Cup. Like we used to talk about the 6 principles of groundedness a lot and try to like incorporate them in different ways. And like on the very first Quill and Cup retreat that ever existed back in 2022 at the Arkansas retreat, we did like, this is what our focus was. It was basically the Get Grounded challenge for that 1 week. We talked about each of the principles of groundedness, and then we're like incorporating them in different ways, and like we were doing yoga in the morning, and anyway, it was like a whole thing. But the point is, we talk about the movement aspect and the connection between our brains and our bodies a lot, but I don't think I've ever had movement make this much of a difference. I don't know if it was like I was trying to do the wrong things, because I know I used to try to do more of like a traditional workout kind of thing, you know, with my little dumbbells and, you know, doing push-ups and crunches or whatever. And then also just like maybe like going for walks outside, which is nice, but it wasn't really doing for me. Like it never did this. Like this is, I feel the first time incorporating movement into the writing routine it's ever been like this intentional, and then the like game changer. Like I do it and then I have extra energy pennies after preschool, and I'm able to like be productive and do the things, you know. I don't know. It was wild. I don't know. It just like completely changed everything. Anyway, I think the challenge as a whole was a success. It was wonderful. I do think it's interesting that like within the Hedgie house, the first week, the movement week, there was a lot of commenting in the threads. There was a lot of people doing the thing. And by acceptance week, so far, nobody has commented except for me. And it was that way like in vulnerability too. Like I got a couple of people to interact, but not a lot. Versus like week 1, everybody was doing it. And I'm curious, I have no way of knowing this, but I'm curious how many people kept up with the challenge on their own, just like with the workbook and whatever, versus how many people like fell off of the challenge and weren't doing it anymore. I don't know. That would be interesting data to have. But for me personally, I think the challenge was absolutely a success. It was wonderful. But now I have to read The Queen of Cannondale and start a new challenge. By tomorrow.